Hello, my name is Professor Valdez Gant. I'll be your instructor for Math 1325 Business Calculus at Northlake College. This particular video is going to give you an overview of how to navigate in MyLabs Plus for our textbook for the 13th edition. So to get started, the first thing that you will need to do is to access the how to log into MyLabs Plus PowerPoint presentation that is in your eCampus. I'm going to quickly show you a template that looks very similar to what your course will look like in eCampus online to show you where that is. And then I'm going to go through the steps just to make sure it's clear. So this is very similar to what your course would look like online in eCampus. To get the particulars about eCampus, you can look at the eCampus video that is also in eCampus as well. So here, in order to get to this particular file, you will need to go to the Start Here folder. And then after you get to the Start Here folder, I'll just go ahead and click on it now. You will see that you will have MyLabs Plus Tour. Okay? And so in here, that's where you will find this particular document. So this is where the information I'm about to tell you, where you would get it from. So here, what that document says is you will need to go ahead and put in your student ID for both your username and password. So for instance, if your student ID was 7779311, then you would put that in for both your username and your password. So 7779311 again. So my particular username and password is not the same, so I will put in what mine is so that we can get into the course. All right, so from this point, you won't see all these courses here because I'm an instructor, so I have a lot of different courses that's going on. But where you would need to go to is you will see a course that says Math 1325 INET. This is our particular course here. And so for people that are viewing this in future semesters, this was recorded in fall 2014. Everything will be similar except for the particular section number. And of course, you may see spring 2015 or 2016 or whatever. Okay. So go ahead and click on to the course. And now we're in. For those of you that may have taken this course before, using the 12th edition, you may notice that the platform here looks a little different. And this is part of the reason why I'm taking the time to review everything. The first thing that I'll want to go through here after we've logged in, of course, is how to get your temporary access code. Your temporary access code is important because for those of you that may not have your supplies on the first day, meaning your textbook and or access code, you are still able to start. We don't want the fact that you haven't received or haven't bought your materials yet as a reason for you to be behind in this course. So how to get that temporary access code so that you can get started, you need to go to course home here. And so with course home, you'll see it has temporary access. So here you see that you have a access code that is generated for you, and when you go through the actual initial registration process here, you're probably seeing this instead of seeing what I have here. You will need to put this particular access code into the area where it says for you to put it in there so that you can get through registering for the course. Okay, so when you do this, once you type in your student ID for both username and password, you're probably prompted to put in an access code. If you don't have your materials yet, go ahead and put this particular access code in. This access code will be good to around September 15th. After that, you will need to actually go and purchase the textbook and or access code. And so the ways that you can do that is you can go to the Northlake College bookstore, and they have either standalone access codes or they have the textbook access code bundle. So that's the way you would probably need to go to ensure that you actually get the correct materials. If it shows up on your computer, there may also be an option for you to buy the standalone access code directly from the northlake.mylabsplus.com website. You can do that as well. Okay. All right. So now that we know what access code to use if we don't have our materials, and we see how to log into the course, the next thing I want to show you is what kind of assignments or whatnot you need to do in here. Okay. So next we're going to go to assignments. 99% of the time, this is where you are going to go to start doing your work. Okay. And so if you see here, we have a bunch of assignments that start off with optional on it. And so chapters 1 and 2 are what we call review sections for this particular course. And so what we want to do is make sure that you're proficient in some of the topics that are in these particular sections, because they do really play a role in our actual business calculus course. So this goes through everything from basic arithmetic, solving linear equations, up to what is traditionally college algebra or college mathematics for business and economics majors, which is sort of a variation of a theme of college algebra. And so this goes from section 1.1 to 2.6. Okay, so all that is optional. If you pass this particular pretest with the, I think I had 80 or 90% here. If you pass this with 80 or 90%, or you do all of these assignments here and score at least 80% on all of these, all the ones that are optional, except for this one here. So from 2.6 on up to here. If you do that, then I'll give you 5 extra bonus points on your first exam. Okay. It is not required that you do it, but if you do it and you have the time to do it, then it may benefit you for the first exam. Right here, chapter 10 pretest, what this pretest does is sort of test to see what you know, so that you can filter out the homework that you don't need to do, the stuff that you know, and concentrate on the stuff that you do need to do. When we go here to the next page, this is where everything that is required for this course and what I actually grade in your homework percentage for the final grade for this course, that's where it would be. Okay. So everything from 10.1 onward. And so notice here you have what's called an SLO quiz. You have 4 of these. Okay. These quizzes go along with the SLO activities, and I speak more about that in the actual eCampus video. So what I want to do quickly is to go into one of the assignments here to kind of give you a rundown of what options and what tools you have available to you. Okay. So here's how your homework looks. And so you can see for this particular section, you have 16 problems. I'm just going to click on one. And so here you see that we have this question here, and we have all these little tools here to help us. So first off, we have the textbook. The textbook just links you to section 10.1 in the actual textbook. It will only stay within the pages of 10.1. So if you wanted to actually access 10.2, you won't be able to do that here. You would have to go to another area. Help me solve this. What Help Me Solve This does is it'll actually take you through this particular problem. I'll just go ahead and go through it. So you see here, it'll actually ask you some questions, and then it'll say, all right, well, let's go ahead and answer this. I'm just going to put in anything. Okay. So I get that right, I keep going, and then here it says do this, and I'm going to intentionally try to get this wrong so you can see what happens. So you see you get it wrong again, and now you see that it'll give you what the correct answer is. Okay, and then after that we keep on going. I'll just put anything here, don't know if it's correct or not. And so here once again, You just go through the whole process here, okay? And so now you're finished. Now notice that when we complete this here, notice what our question is now. When I close this, my question has changed, okay? So that's one of the things that happens with Help Me Solve This. It'll help you through that problem, but then it'll give you another one to do because the idea is for you to do at least one of these yourself, okay? View an example is very similar to Help Me Solve This. It just doesn't have the interactive component. So here, if I click on this, you'll see that I can just kind of go through everything. And so these are helpful once you've studied, once you've actually read your textbook. When you're trying to solve these problems, the way that I would use this is to try to do as much of the problem as possible. If you don't know where to start, I would use Help Me Solve This or View an Example just to give me an idea of how to start off. And then from there, I would cut it off and then try to do as much of the problem as possible. If you're not reading the textbook and you're just using Help Me Solve This and View an Example, you're putting yourself at a great disadvantage. Okay? Because what could happen here is that you're learning patterns instead of learning the actual concepts. And so when it comes to the test, it won't look like this. Okay? You also have a calculator at your disposal. And if none of this, along with you studying and viewing the videos on your own that are available here, then you can always email me. Of course, you can just say it goes straight to my email address. And so from here, all you have to do is just state whatever problems you have. So if it's just help or, hey, I don't understand this particular point or step in the problem, please let me know that. And after that, you just send. And it'll come directly to me. Okay, so we've looked at the homework. We've seen how to log in, how to get our temporary access code. I want to now talk about the study plan quickly. The study plan is an area where you are not graded, but it is a place for you to get extra practice. If you don't want to do homework problems over and over and over again, you can come to the study plan to get extra practice. And how to access this is to go, of course, click on study plan and then go to view all chapters. Okay. From here, you'll notice that I have some little thumbtacks or pins here. So what has happened is I've taken either a test or a quiz. Every time I take a test or a quiz, this particular study plan gets it gets repopulated or reassessed. Okay, and so I'm going to go to chapter 10 here to try to show you. Well, sorry, not chapter 10, chapter 2 here to show you some of what's happened. So here I took the pretest, and so you'll see here that I have chapter 2. I got the thumbtacks here, which means that I need to study these particular concepts because I didn't get them right on the test. The graduation hat here shows that I do know how to determine if an equation represents a function or not. So that's something that I don't have to study. Everything that you have these thumbtacks on whenever you take a quiz or a test is the kind of things you need to practice on. Now, of course, if you don't really care about all that, if you haven't taken a test or anything, and you just want to make sure that, hey, you get the extra practice, you can just come in here and click on what you want. So if we come here, you'll see we have this, and it looks just like the regular homework problems that we have. So again, you're not graded for this, but it is a place for you to get extra practice. Okay? And of course, if you want to go to show what I need to study, of course, it'll show you everything there without all the other stuff. All right, for your grade book, everything that you do in here, you will see your grades for. And normally I suggest that you go to entire course to date. You see that I've actually clicked into the first homework assignment and I've done this test here. You can click here to review your work. You can review homework, you can review tests. However, you cannot review SLO quizzes.